you may want to reconsider everything you know about productivity. Let me explain. If you look around at your job, at social media, at culture as a whole, you'll realize pretty quickly that society really values productivity. We obsess over the hashtag grind, hashtag hustle culture, don't eat, don't sleep, and those who cancel dinners with friends or miss birthday parties because, they're so on their grind, they're so disciplined.
Just do it!
Those are the ones who are really dedicated and focused and that we look up to. Don't get me wrong, I am not trying to bash productivity. That's essentially what a lot of my channel is about. Working hard is definitely a virtue and something to be respected. And more times than not, it's kind of necessary to fulfill these big dreams that you might have. But there is another side to productivity and working hard that I don't think enough people talk about. So it seems like society really values productivity, but it focuses on a specific kind of productivity. Oftentimes than not, it's if you're working towards money and status. That's what's valued. So do you spend all of your time focusing on getting a higher degree or building your business or getting a promotion? Then good, you're told you are on the right path. If you spend all of your time on other needs like fostering friendships or working on your mental health or practicing your hobbies, that's not deemed as important, valuable, necessary. Sometimes it can even be seen as lazy. Oftentimes it feels like we're valued based on how much money we make or how hard we are working, how busy we are. And the harder you work, the better, apparently. We idolize the ones that go through hell and sacrifice everything for their goals. Like the idea of what's a hero story without a struggle, right? But the problem is that there's this notion that you're somehow less valuable if you don't have a lot of money or you don't care to work a lot. There's this feeling that we're not enough by simply just existing on this earth as a human, that we have to somehow earn our value, earn our respect in what we do and how much money we make, and we don't have intrinsic value. So why are we working so hard? Well, there are some people that unfortunately don't have a choice, like single mothers who have to work 3 jobs to make ends meet. But there are also a lot of external forces that pressure us into working hard. There's this very obvious pressure to maximize productivity at your job. Your company values you based on how hard you work, how much you can do in a day, who is willing to come in early and stay late, who is willing to answer emails on vacations. And those are the people who get applauded and promoted. And in turn, that pushes more people to be productive and sometimes even overextend themselves and stress out over their jobs to also get those same rewards. The second thing is I think there's a huge social pressure that drives productivity. The idea of keeping up with the Jones family. You should always be working harder to get more things. The better car, the better vacation, the higher degree. Because if that family's kid has a master's degree, then what are you doing if you don't? And it can be intense, the feeling that we have to keep pushing forward or else we'll get left behind. I really admire and respect people who know what they want, are super disciplined, and go after it. But I do think there's a very fine line between working really hard to achieve your goals and obsessing over productivity to the point where it's toxic. And I'm also struggling with figuring out when I actually need a break and when I need to push myself and when that pushing gets too unhealthy. It's a lot. Some people even use productivity as escapism. They would rather throw themselves into work so they don't have to sit with themselves and really face their thoughts, maybe their traumas or anxieties. They kind of use productivity like a drug to numb them. And then there's people who attach their entire identity to being the hard worker. They become that person that's always hopping from one project to the next and completely consuming their life and their work, and they kind of lose who they are. A lot of people only get 1 or 2 vacation weeks a year if they're lucky. Your job can easily just consume your life and you can lose your identity and forget who you are without your work. Who are you really when you're not working, when you're just existing, when you're not being productive? And I think a lot of people were forced to think about this when COVID hit. The world as we knew it came to a dead halt. Malls were closed, movie theaters were closed, restaurants and bars were closed, outside was closed. And people really had to just sit with themselves. I had just a little life crisis. I had been in this go, go, go mentality for my entire life that I didn't know who I was when I wasn't working. I was actually really uncomfortable not working. Because I didn't feel valuable. I didn't feel like I was being productive. I was being useful or helpful in any kind of way. For as long as I can remember, I was always doing something. Studying, working a job, working 2 jobs, cleaning, reading, working some more. I've always kept myself busy, and I think I've done so because somewhere along the line, I was told that I should be. When I relaxed too long as a kid, I was told I should find something to do. Even if it was summer vacation and I didn't really have a lot to do, as an 8-year-old. I was being a good kid when I was busy and productive. That's the type of kid that parents show off and say, look at my kid, look at how ambitious they are. But I was considered lazy when I was just hanging out. I feel like that's rhetoric that a lot of people get as a kid, so comment down below if that was also your life. Basically, there was no deemed value in resting. I could do it if I needed to, but it was nothing to be proud of. Right? People aren't going around being like, look at my daughter. She's resting. She's taking care of herself. No, it's the kid who's taking like 4 AP classes in grade 5 and plays the piano and leads in all the school musicals and also plays 3 Olympic sports. Varsity. And that idea of what good, aka busy, looks like has really translated into my adult life. Now on days where I don't do a whole lot except binge watch The Office and play with my dog, I feel sometimes less valuable. I feel like there's this little voice in my head that's like, you could be doing more. You don't have this many subscribers. You don't have this title at your job yet. You could be working harder. Like, I feel weirdly guilty if I'm not getting something done. Now, I want to emphasize again that I think hard work is necessary. Making sacrifices and delayed gratification is often key in achieving long-term goals. Like, if you've decided you want to spend like 10 years in school to become a doctor or be the CEO of a business, that's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and that's a good thing if you can do it. But always being on the grind can manifest in a healthy way or a toxic way. So then how are you supposed to know if you're being healthy or toxic? Where is the line? So I don't have that answer. I'm still working on it every day. I think it's different for every person, but here are 2 general rule of thumbs that you can keep in mind. The first is when you're on your hustle, make sure you're practicing self-compassionate productivity. If you're trying to balance 7 things at once, 1 or 2 might fall through the cracks sometimes. You might forget a friend's birthday or miss a couple workouts at the gym. I think the key is practicing self-forgiveness, saying I'm only human, I'm trying my best, tomorrow's a new day and I'm gonna go at it again. And the second thing to do to make sure your productivity isn't toxic is to do it intentionally. Regularly check in with yourself. If you're the type of person that's made their entire life about one thing, like building this business or making this career, it can be really easy to lose sight of other things you care about. So ask yourself, what do I value outside of this? Is it friendships, relationships, future children, mental health, or keeping up with my hobbies? And you have to be honest with yourself. Are you maintaining those things, or are you kind of neglecting them in order to be productive? Because you can go at your goals and wake up a millionaire and be that CEO of that Fortune 500 company, but look around and realize you have no one to share your life with, or you're ridiculously unhealthy, or you lost sight of your mental health and now you have some serious depression or anxiety. Now, there are some people who want that kind of life, who don't really value friendships or relationships or children in the future or their physical health. And they're just trying to spend their entire life understanding quantum physics or building this business. Or they spent every waking second swimming to be the next Michael Phelps Olympics champion. And sure, that's okay, you can do that. You'll probably actually go really far. You'll be the next Elon Musk or something. But I think most people do want to be successful and achieve their goals and still have friends and still be physically fit and still have a relationship and have their spouse not dump them. And that's what this channel is all about. Holistic growth. It's about not just being the best employee while sacrificing your mental health. It's about building that successful business but not neglecting your relationship and friends. It's about putting in that work but taking breaks when you need them. And all of this is essential, in my opinion, to be a truly healthy, holistic person. So when I was creating this video, I thought a lot about productivity and how I want it to look and what it means to me. And here are some things that I have taken away. 1, humans are not born to work and be productive. You can choose to do that or not to do that. 2, humans have the same intrinsic value, whether you decide you want a PhD or to go play with baby goats on a farm for the rest of your life. You are enough even when you're not constantly contributing to society. 3, self-development is not synonymous with being busy and working hard. Self-development can look like oil painting or riding horses. It's all part of developing yourself. And finally, self-care days are productive. Relaxing isn't a waste of time. I actually carve out time just for that. And for anyone watching this video who also struggles with finding the line between working really hard and working too much, here are a few questions you can ask yourself that might give you some clarity. Am I actually ambitious and in love with the things that I am going for in life, or do I feel an external pressure to do those things? Do I know who I am outside of work, outside of getting things done? Am I comfortable being by myself just with my own thoughts, or do I use work as a way to escape something? And the last question you can ask yourself is, do you consider resting a valuable use of your time, or do you feel guilty when you take a break? Like, do you feel less valuable when you're doing nothing? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know this one was a little bit more deep than my other lighthearted, funny videos, but I really hope you enjoyed it. As much as I love making videos on making money and being productive and time management, it's so important to take that step back, reevaluate, and make sure you're moving forward in an intentional and healthy way. If you liked this video, I am sure you'll like this other video on the psychology of procrastination. I'll link it up here. So please check that out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Coming back home.